Elaine, darling, tell me how it feels to be on the cusp of 90. You are 89 this minute. And
Actually, Ruthie, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I have thought about 90 ever since my sisters were 90, and I wanted to be 90 as well. But I don't feel 90, nor do you. I know you don't. But I'm so grateful to God that I've come this way, this long way. And I've had so many wonderful experiences. Sad ones too, but I have loved every year of my life, and I'm so grateful to God that I've lived this long. And I really would like to live longer, as long as I am able to do the iPad still, use my iPhone, and cook a little bit, and play bridge sometime.
what about your singing? Isn't it wonderful that you at 90 can still sing?
Well,
You're almost 90, but
I'm so glad you think I can still sing.
you have, honey, everyone knows that you have a beautiful voice, and you know it too. You've got to know it when you've had everybody saying that.
I do know that I can sing because I'm in the front row, and they like my high notes. So I'm very happy and privileged to be in that group. And I love to sing for people, I really do. It's getting easier for me. But anyway, it's lovely.
But it's more than just the high notes, Elaine. It's the clarity of your voice and the beauty and the richness of it.
Well,
that is the thing that people listen for. And with just great joy. You have a joyous nature. What are you expected to, how do you handle people in your beautiful way?
Well, you know, the one thing, Ruthie, that we both know is to love one another. We don't want to think badly of people. And I love to have a lot of nice friends. And my family has given me this feeling of love and support through my life. My mother and father, my sisters, and then my children. And I'm so grateful to those that are near me that have done so much, and to those others that have called me, that have lived so far away, but still managed to really call their mother and see how she is. And I appreciate that, and I am so proud of my grandchildren. They've done such a good job with their children, I just can't get over it. And I can hardly wait to see them tomorrow, Ruthie. I can hardly wait. But anyway, it's going to be a lovely time. And dear friends, those friends of yesteryear, my neighbors and their children, I'm just so glad I'm going to see all of them. So, and these wonderful relatives that we have, cousins and that are going to be there, all of them. I'm going to be so delighted to see them all.
I have to say something, honey.
What, Ruthie?
I know that Bill has been part of your life, and I know that you have loved his children. And I know you're could you tell me about Janie, how grateful you are for her?
I'm grateful to Janie for so many things. We love music together, and we love to laugh, and we can get on some tremendously interesting subjects, and they're mostly the arts and her French class. But I've had a wonderful relationship with Janie, and I'll always be grateful for it for as long as I live. She too has been an inspiration to me. Every time I want to complain about something, I'm always so grateful to think of our dear little Janie and how brave she's been through the years. But she's filled with laughter, filled with joy, you know, she's just filled with joy herself, and I love to be with her. And so that's my little time with Janie. It's always pleasant.
I think Robin has been a great attribute to your existence, as well as your other children. And Robin, of course, is here, and that's why I mention her.
And I actually, even ever since she was a little girl, and was so sick, and I was so afraid of her life, and I became so close to her at that time, and so afraid that something was going to happen to her. But we were very close from the very beginning of her life.
And I know,
She seems to always been careful to watch over me.
I know you have such love for each of your children. Could you say something about each of your children?
Well, with my Terry, she'll never know. I'm sure she knows that when she had her first baby, that she was so grateful to have that little Jeffrey. And but being the first child, it's like you were absolutely the luckiest woman in the world to have such a beautiful, bright little blue-eyed child. And I think of her so fondly in those years of raising the children, how she was there to help me in so many ways.
What about Kevin?
And Kevin, he was just, when he was told to do something, he did it. I was so proud of Kevin. He was so self-sufficient, and he seemed to just adjust well in life. To me, he was that way. I never worried about him, really. I worried about his eyesight at that time, but he's doing beautifully now, and I'm so grateful to God that he's in such good health, and he's taking such good care of him, and had these two beautiful children, and he found Katie to love so much for the rest of his life. And so anyway, and also the children, or the mother of those dear children, played an important part of my life, living with me for a couple of years. And so we got to know each other quite well. And she was a loving, sweet mother. She indeed really was.
And then our Timmy. Tell me about Timmy.
Oh, my Timmy. Timmy was one of these most unusual people that we did not know how talented this young man was, this little boy. The way he worked with his hands, the way he could figure out things. And to this day, and then his music, singing, and having a band in Palm Desert, and having people come and hear his little, I think it was 4-piece band, and he was their lead singer. And then he had a successful business in the fur business. And he was excellent. He could make a fur coat. In fact, I have to this day one of the most beautiful mink jackets that anybody could ever have. And so I'm going to wear it this winter, so help me Hannah. If it gets cold, where they fur your haters come out and all, I'm going to wear my coat because Timmy made it for me.
I think of when Donnie was born, Timmy called me Auntie Mommy, because I was taking care of the other 4 children while you were in the hospital. And it's a very dear and sweet memory that I have.
How we appreciate it. And you told me how Harold was so adorable to you and to all the kids, and how he went along with everything and took you. Didn't he take you to the beach?
We all went to the beach. We had 7 children, my 3, and of course Allison was a baby. I don't know. I think I must have left Allison maybe with Grandma Lotz at that time. But
is that right?
I don't believe
she
was only 9 months, honey. She would be too young to.
The children, I know that you taught them how to make wallets, paper wallets, out of colored paper.
But I think of when you came home with Donnie, and we measured feet. 9-month-old Allison's foot equaled a newborn Donnie's feet. But tell me about Donnie.
Donnie, oh gosh, he was something else again. He was the one. In fact, I keep wondering if he liked popular music, because I was in this group called the Modern Moods, and it was a little, these popular singing in our day. What were this? Moonlight in Vermont, and all these love songs, and they were beautiful. And he went with me, and he'd always wear a little brown suit that you gave him. I think you gave me a brown suit of one of your children.
That was from David.
He wore those to the practices, and I was so proud of him. And he was so good. He just sat there at 5 years old, I think he was, and just didn't make a peep out of him. I didn't have to worry about him at all. He just sat and listened. And then perhaps his love for popular music and jazz was might have been a part of it. Who knows? All I know is that he's a great musician now. He's just doing beautifully still and loving it and teaching now and loving every moment of it. So I'm so grateful he went back to music because that was his passion.
Well, you have some things to look forward to tomorrow, honey, on your 90th birthday.
Oh, to see the grandchildren too.
And also,
all these wonderful friends.
but there'll be a program for you, honey.
What?
There'll be, I'm sure your children will plan a beautiful program
Do you
for
think
you.
so?
I think they
All I
will.
want to do is see them. They don't have to do anything but just be there. so I
But
can
they're
look
going
at
to
'em.
they're going to be there for you and for all the guests.
Oh, I think it's
Certainly
good.
for their two aunties who love them all so much. So anyhow, I'm going to say, have a beautiful, happy birthday,
Oh.
my beloved Elaine.
Thank you, Ruthie.